We're going to continue with Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. This is rule number 4. Rule number 4 is titled, Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. And I think this is the fourth or third section of part 4. Rule number 4 is titled The Point of Our Eyes, or Take Stock. Our eyes are always pointing at things we are interested in approaching or investigating, or looking for, or having. We must see, but to see we must aim, so we are always aiming. Our minds are built on the hunting and gathering platforms of our bodies. To hunt is to specify a target, track it, and throw at it. To gather is to specify and to grasp. We fling stones, spears, and boomerangs. We toss bales through hoops and hit pucks into nets and curl carved granite rocks down the ice onto horizontal bullseyes. We launch projectiles at targets with bows, guns, rifles, and rockets. We hurl insults, launch plans, and pitch ideas. We succeed when we score a goal or hit a target. We fail or sin when we do not. As the word sin means, to miss the mark. We cannot navigate without something to aim at end. And while we are in this world, we must always navigate. We are always and simultaneously at point A, which is less determinable than it could be, moving towards point B, which we deem better, in accordance with our explicit and implicit values. We always encounter the world in a state of insufficiency and seek its correction. We can imagine new ways that things could be set right and improved, even if we have everything we thought we needed. Even when satisfied temporarily, we remain curious. We live within a framework that defines the present as eternally lacking in the future as eternally better. If we did not see things this way, we would not act at all. We wouldn't even be able to see, because to see we must focus, and to focus we must pick one thing above all else on which to focus. I guess he's going to talk about picking fruit. That's how we developed our sense of color. But we can see. We can see even things that aren't there. We can envision new ways that things could be better. We can construct new, hypothetical worlds where problems we weren't even aware of can now show themselves and be addressed. The advantages of this are obvious. We can change the world so that the intolerable state of the present can be rectified in the future. The disadvantage to all of this foresight and creativity is chronic unease and discomfort, because we always contrast with what it is what we could be. We have to aim at what could be, but we could aim too high or too low or too chaotically. So we fail and live in disappointment, even when we appear to others to be living well. How can we benefit from our imaginativeness, our ability to improve the future, without continually denigrating our current insufficient, successful, and worthless lives? He doesn't beat around the bush. The first step, perhaps, is to take stock. Who are you? When you buy a house and prepare to live in it, you hire an inspector to list all its faults. As it is, in reality now, not as it wished it could be. You'll even pay him for the bad news. You need to know. You need the discomfort to know the home's fit and flaws. You need to know whether there are cosmetic imperfections or structural inadequacies. You need to know because you can't fix something if you don't know what's broken. You see where he's going with this? And you're broken. You need an inspector, the internal critic. It could play that role. It could, if you could get on track, and if you could, it could cooperate. It could help you take stock. But you must walk through your psychological house with it and listen judiciously at what it says. A lot of big words in there. Good thing I'm reading it and not you, right? No, I'm just kidding. Maybe you're a handyman's dream, a real fixer-upper. How can you start renovations without being demoralized, even crushed by your internal critic's lengthy and painful report of your inadequacies? Here's a hint. The future is like the past, but there's a crucial difference. The past is fixed, but the future, it could be better. It could be better some precise amount, the amount that can be achieved perhaps in a day, with some minimal engagement. The present is eternally flawed, but when you start might not be as, but where you start might not be as important as the direction you are heading. Some people like myself, we're only like optimistic or positive with like doing things to help the future. This is what I've learned this year. Perhaps happiness is always to be found in the journey uphill, and in the fleeting sense of satisfaction awaiting at the next peak. Yeah, satisfaction at the next peak. Much of happiness is hope, no matter how deep the underworld in which that hope was conceived. And I go deep. Called upon, if you're not an adult and you're watching this, go ahead and watch my kid videos, my joke videos. Those are for kids. This book, 12 Rules for Life. You're not going to get much enjoyment out of this unless you're at least 16 years old, and a very mature 16-year-old does it. Could you do it now? Imagine that you are someone with whom you must negotiate. Imagine further that you are lazy, touchy, resentful, and hard to get along with. You might have to use a little charm and playfulness. Excuse me, you might say to yourself without irony or sarcasm. I'm trying to reduce some of the unnecessary suffering around here. I could use some help. Keep the derision at bay. I'm wondering if there is anything that you'd be willing to do. I'd be grateful for your service. Ask honestly and with humility. That's no simple matter. Okay, yeah, have a conversation with yourself about it. You might have to negotiate further depending on your state of mind. Maybe you don't trust yourself. You think that you'll ask yourself for one thing and having delivered, immediately demand more. And you'll be punitive and hurtful about it, and you'll denigrate what was already offered. Who wants to work for a tyrant like that? Not you. That's why you don't do what you want for yourself. You're a bad employee. You're a worse boss. Maybe you need to say to yourself, okay, I know we haven't gotten along very well in the past. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to improve. I'll probably make some more mistakes along the way. But I'll try to listen if you object. I'll try to learn. I noticed just now, today, that you weren't really jumping at the opportunity to help when I asked. Is there something I could offer in return for your cooperation? Maybe if you did the dishes, we could go for coffee. You like espresso? How about an espresso? You made me laugh, Dr. Peterson. This is like genius and hilarious. This is, if you're not following along, it's a conversation with yourself. I'm like, you like espresso? How about an espresso? Maybe a double shot. Or is there something else you want? Then you could listen. Maybe you'll hear a voice inside. Maybe it's even the voice of a long-lost child. Maybe it will reply, really? You really want to do something nice for me? You really do it? It's not a trick? This is where you must be careful. That little voice, that's the voice of someone once burnt and twice shy. So you can say very carefully, really, I might not do it very well, and I might not be great company, but I will do something nice for you, I promise. A little careful kindness goes a long way, and judicious reward is a powerful motivator. Then you could take that small bit of yourself by the hand and do the damn dishes. And then you better not go clean the bathroom and forget about the coffee or the movie or the beer, or it would be even harder to call the forgotten parts of yourself forth for the nooks and crannies of the underworld. I want to get through that paragraph really quick because I just want to say, like, I spoke to my friend in an email earlier, and she's like, yeah, you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. But this is kind of like, you shouldn't hate yourself, or not. You should care about yourself and not just want to help other people. But this is like a great example. It's just like, you know, like that's like kind of how I am. It's just like I want to like do positive things in the world and just like create something decent. You know, a little careful kindness go a long way. And like when he's having a conversation with his fellow, he's like, you know, like sometimes I can be really confident, but sometimes I'm not. So it's like, really, I might not do it well. I might not even be great company, but I can promise I'll try to do something really nice. You know, like that's the thing. Like with me, and honestly, like I won't lie. You know, I can do that. That's easy. You know, so I gotta fix these glasses. Okay. You might ask yourself, what could I say to someone else? My friend, my brother, my boss, my assistant. That would set things a bit more right between us tomorrow. What bit of chaos might I eradicate at home, on my desk, in my kitchen, tonight, so that stage could be set for a better play? That's a great point. What snakes might I banish from my closet and my mind? 500 small decisions, 500 tiny actions compose your day, today, and every day. That's an objective fact. Could you aim one or two of those at a better result, better in your own private opinion by your own individual standards? Could you compare your specific personal tomorrow with your specific personal yesterday? Could you use your own judgment and ask yourself what better tomorrow might be? I've gotten into Jordan Peterson this year. Right now it's June 26th, I think. And I started reading Jordan Peterson this year after I quit smoking and started working out every day. And I got a calendar and started marking my progress. So, just so if you guys are wondering about me, how Jordan Peterson's teaching has changed me. This is the first time I've read his book, but I've been watching his YouTube videos. Jordan Peterson's big on YouTube. He's known as the father of YouTube, the fatherly figure of YouTube. That little voice, that's the voice of someone. Okay, you might ask yourself, Aim small. You don't want to shoulder too much to begin with. Yeah. Given your limited, I'm six. It's exactly 6 months in the middle of the year right now, so I can see like, oh, okay, at the beginning of this year, 6 months ago, I wasn't even doing what I am now. I had to aim. You have to start small, baby steps, and work your way up. As far as like if it's an exercise routine or a reading routine or a YouTube routine, whatever. Thus, set yourself the following goal. By the end of the day, I want things in my life to be a tiny bit better than they were this morning. Then you ask yourself, what could I do that I would accomplish that? And what small thing would I like it as a reward? Then you do what you have decided to do, even if you do it badly. Then you give yourself that damn coffee in triumph. With me, it's going to be ice cream. Maybe you feel a bit stupid about it, but you do it anyways. Then you do the same thing tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. And with each day, your baseline of comparison gets a little higher. He's the most practical person. His practicality, that's what this is all about, being sensible and practical. Do that for 3 years and your life will be eternally different. Bam! Now you're aiming for something higher. Now you're wishing on a star. Now the beam is disappearing from your eye and you're learning to see. And what you aim at determines what you see. That's worth repeating. What you aim at determines what you see. What you aim at determines what you see. This next section is called What You Aim At is Determines What You See. But I'm going to save that for the next video. If you like that, click the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. This channel is only going to keep growing. Right now I'm just making these with a little crappy phone. I'm going to get a regular camera, a regular light, and a regular microphone, but you'll still have my great talent. So get on board early, hit the subscribe button, and put this on your Facebook or your Twitter. So 6 months from now, when there's 1 million subscribers, you'll be like, oh man, I was one of his first subscribers, man. Now everyone knows about it. Yeah, because I'm doing this not for me, for other people.